I wanted to come on here real quick and properly introduce myself. I'm Kelly from Kelly's Crafts, and I just wanted to give a shout out to not only my original subscribers, but all my new subscribers. One of my videos just blew up over the last couple days, and you guys with your new subs and your lovely comments, I can't thank you enough. So you guys have spoken. You obviously like the dark and moody and the Gothic the best, and which is good because we're not that far away from Halloween. So I'm going to keep this momentum going, and when it gets to be fall, I'll be doing Halloween, obviously. That's my jam, but I'll also be doing some beautiful fall projects as well. And I'm a wreath maker at heart, but I've long run out of room for all my wreaths. So you'll see a couple wreaths here and there. And I surpassed my first goal of 100 subscribers. You guys have more than doubled that. So my next goal is 500. So you guys, let's keep this going. Share this video. If you know of anybody who might enjoy my content, let them know. And I just want to thank you all so much. I'm just overwhelmed and so excited. I love to do this so much. So let's get to today's projects. DIY number 1, the Crypt Floral. So we have this, it's a Christmas gift box I got from Dollar General. I believe it was $1. Mod Podge. My favorite brush. I finally had to retire that brush. I was sad. Some regular old white tissue paper. And we're just going to tear this into manageable pieces and crumple it all up. If you saw my glam pumpkin, you know what I'm doing here. That adds some texture. So you add your Mod Podge and you just start gluing the paper down. That's pretty much it. And try not to smooth it out. Just pat it down. You want to keep those wrinkles for your texture. And all you do is keep wrapping it around the bottom. This is the lid, obviously. Keep wrapping it around. Tear off your excess and keep gluing it down. And tissue paper is nice and thin. And with the torn edges, any patches you have to add, spots that are still bare, you just tear off a piece a little bigger than what you need to cover and press it on there. It'll all blend together. Once you paint it, you can't see the seams at all. And then just again, tear off the excess. Get it on the sides, get it up on the underside, do all that good stuff. Just pat it all down and have fun with it. I love to decoupage. Whether it's just doing an image on something or something like this, just adding texture and painting it. And love to paint. I love doing all this. Let you guys know that, or I wouldn't be here making videos about it. And there's just a little piece we're gonna put a little patch on. And just make sure it overlaps so that it all gets covered. And there you have the lids all done. And you want to make sure that is absolutely completely dry before you try to paint anything. And then we do the box the same way. Just find a good starting spot. A piece that fits all the way across one side is helpful. At least, you can get it done pretty quick. But again, it's easy to patch it as long as you tear your edges. I go through some Mod Podge. I tell you what, I'm gonna need some again, I think. I'm running low. And think of it like wrapping a present. You can fold the corners in and fold them over and all that good stuff. And again, just tap it down. Don't rub out the wrinkles. Yeah, luckily I already had a Gothic style video in the queue, as you guys obviously like the goth, which I do as well. It's so much fun to do. And we put a top coat of Mod Podge on the entire project, and again, let that dry completely. Let it dry overnight would be best. And this is Orange Spice. This is just a flat acrylic. It's Craftsmart, Michael's brand. And we're just going to paint the entire lid and the box with this orange. And oh, I painted the inside with black chalk paint. Now once that's dry, we're going to take our chip brush and our black chalk paint, and we're going to pick up all those little wrinkles And this really turns out pretty. I decoupaged some images on the box, and kind of wish I didn't. It was so pretty. So you can do that if you want or not. That's entirely up to you. But it depends on the size of your box too. You know, you can always tear off smaller pieces here and there of images rather than put a large piece like I did. But yeah, I kind of wish I'd have just left it painted. But either way, it was a lot of fun to do. But look at all that texture that shows up with just a tiny bit of dry brushing that black paint on there. Too pretty. And you can paint this purple and do black. You can do a pretty green. You can do whatever you want. Whatever paint you happen to have, or whatever your favorite color is. And then what you do, especially if you're not going to decoupage on top of it, because once you do that, you're going to seal it with Mod Podge. Spray the entire thing with flat clear coat spray. I've used the Krylon and the Rust-Oleum. They're both very good. They don't gloss up your project if you don't like that. If you want it glossy, you can get satin, you can get gloss, you can do it however you want. But I prefer the matte look. And my Mod Podge is also matte finish, but it is shinier than that spray. So if I hadn't decoupaged it, I would have just gone with a coat of that. But yeah, I did Mod Podge the entire tissue paper, but not, that was before I painted it. So you definitely want to seal your projects whenever possible. Now this is not going to be outside in the weather or anything, but still. Oh, you see that little puppy up in the upper left corner? If you've seen any of my videos, you've probably already seen him. I decoupaged him on a board. So I didn't use him in this project, but I didn't waste him. I used him. He's just so cute. That's my little pumpkin clown puppy. And again, all these papers are from Etsy that I print on rice paper. And just a heads up with the rice paper, it is a pain in the butt. Sometimes it'll feed through your printer, sometimes it won't. It's a fight sometimes, smooth as silk other times. It is crazy. And if you get it I get it from Amazon, and if it shows up and some of it's kind of bent a little bit, yeah. So just keep that in mind, because you can do all of these projects with regular printer paper. Just get a decent quality printer paper, tear your edges, and it'll turn out just fine. I just like the rice paper because it does have that element of transparency. That's why, again, on this box, I used darker images so they would show up. But usually when you're using rice paper, you want a white background or an off-white or a light gray, something like that, depending on the colors in your image, obviously. But yeah, I kind of wish I'd have left these off, but it's still pretty cool. We got the skeletons going on. They're like dancing in the street or something there. And this is just a little spider I'm putting on top of the lid. And there's one I put on the back that you can't even see. It's so dark you can't even see what it is. And honestly, I don't even remember what the image is I put on there. So anyway, but it's all good. It turns out great. This one's fun. And then we're going to put our top coat of Mod Podge on the lid and let all that dry completely. So now I've got floral foam from Dollar Tree and Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue. It depends on the depth of the box you're using. You just have to judge based on that, because you want the floral foam high enough where you'll see what's coming out of it, but you don't want it all the way to the top. I'd say a ½ inch or so below the top. And I'm just feeling my way around here. I'm stacking the Jenga blocks in one corner because I want to glue this lid on it, but where it's open and cocked up to the side. It's supposed to look like a crypt. Something's coming out of a crypt, so the lid's been pushed over. And basically you just kind of have to play with it back and forth and figure out where to glue everything. So I've got 1, 2, 3 layers of Jenga blocks total, I believe, there. And I glued them inside glued them to the foam and to the back of the box. And then we're going to glue our lid on. And here, this was hilarious. I wish I'd left a little more footage in here, but it would have made the video so long. But this moss I got from Temu, the look of it turned out fantastic. It fought me tooth and nail. It kicked my butt. it would snag on my fingernails, it would snag on the craft stick, and I think you'll see that here in a second. It's just, oh my god. Every time I tried to it stuck to it, it was just a mess. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I added a little hot glue to the front of those Jenga blocks underneath and shoved the moss in there, and then I stuffed it around between the floor foam and the box and pulled something out to kind of hang over the edge. And I can't find the footage. I don't know what I did with it. On the back side, do the same thing. Cover up those Jenga blocks and let your moss kind of hang out. Spanish moss will work, whatever moss you want to use. So the skeleton hand was a Halloween pick I got from Michael's last season on clearance, and so that's just been in my stash ever since. And I took the roses off and shortened the pick and just put the hand in there. I also dry brushed a little black on it. It was kind of like a gold, so I just dry brushed a little black chalk paint to darken it and tone it down. And these florals came from Amazon. I've used these in a couple projects. I used the black ones in the little your all's favorite video, the little cemetery scene, and the decoupage pumpkin. I used those florals. So now I pulled these off of the bunch, and they are the female end. So you need to create picks. And so when you're doing florals, save all your picks that you trim off. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Brandy at Making It My Own gave me that tip, and she was right. So, and if you don't have that, you could use toothpicks. You got to use what'll fit in whatever florals you're using. But I found that toothpicks work really well, or like those little bamboo skewers. You get those at any dollar store or the grocery store, and create a pick. You got to have something to stuff into that floral foam, and that's all I'm doing here, is adding my florals here and there wherever I want them. And I was going to use the black roses, but they just didn't quite look right. And of course the box is orange and black, so why shouldn't my flowers be? So here we have it. Something's trying to come out of that crypt. I love doing these things. These are so much fun. But yeah, I do like it. And I'm going to add a couple of spiders to it. I got these from Amazon. It was just a thing of spiders and bats, but any toys department in a dollar store, you can find bugs. You know, you can get cockroaches if you want. That'd be cool too. So here it is. And that brings us to DIY number 2. This one's a little cuter. The Haunted Mason Jar. This is just fun and easy. I have a mason jar I got from Dollar General. They're $1 a piece. And I painted it with Waverly chalk paint. It's just the color pumpkin. And when you're painting glass, do one coat and let it dry completely. If it is not completely dry and you try to go on with your second coat, the new paint will wet the old paint and pull it off the jar. So paint it early in the morning and come back to it in the evening, or let it dry overnight or whatever. But that's what I did there, and then dry brush with some black chalk paint. So now we're going to rust up the lid, and that's dark brown paint. This is folk art Java, but any dark brown paint will do. You can also do this with spray paint. And first I'm going to put one coat on and let that dry completely. Then I'm going to come back later and put the second coat on, and while that's soaking wet, we are going to just absolutely douse it with the cinnamon. I got paint all over me over here. And just cover that, and then don't touch it. Then we do the ring, do the same thing, and make sure you lift it up and hit the sides real good. You want to make sure you cover all of it. There you go. And then you leave that to dry. And look at that. It looks like rust, and it's so easy. It's so much fun. And there's my flat clear coat. You spray that on there, and that seals it in, keeps the cinnamon from falling off, and it looks like rust. It's so very cool. And these are just some rub-on transfers I got from Amazon. So I got this little haunted house and my little squeegee scraper there. Now these have an adhesive all around them. You take the backing off, and this will hold them in place. And so some things that will pull off your paint. I was so scared to pull off my paint on the jar, but it didn't. And then I've got a little crow here. I'm going to put him on there. But yeah, I have a video with honeybees, and I did a jar with the bees. I actually did a few. I sold a couple at a craft show recently, and people liked them with the vintage looking papers I decoupaged on them, and the rusty lids. They're just too cute. I got my little jack-o'-lantern, put him on there. Oh, those little stars, I didn't show that, but those two little stars I added. And then I'm going to take my black chalk paint and darken around the edge of everything a little bit more. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I like a dark distress if possible. I just keep darkening it up. That's too cute. Screw the lid on. And later I go back with some white chalk paint and dry brush it over just the haunted house. It's kind of a plastic shiny look to it, to just tone down that shiny look, and that's obviously just an option. That's up to you. You'll see in the reveal that I did that. And I just a little hot glue and some Dollar Tree jute, wrapped it around there, added a spider, and she's done. So here we have my crypt. Love it. I do like the skeletons on it. I don't dislike it. I'm still on the fence whether I should have covered up that box or not. And my cute little jar. Thanks you guys again for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Please come back and see me again. Have a great day.